Hello friends, welcome back to the channel DevOps Consultancy and Solution. In this video, we will learn about Azure Repository and go deep dive its feature and see how to create the repository. And we will also see how to create the branches and commit the code along with the pull request. I will show you how to use the Azure Repository service in Azure DevOps, how to work on command line, and in the last, we will see how to integrate your Azure Repository with Visual Studio Code. So what is Azure Repository? Azure Repos offer free unlimited private Git repository, making it easy to try. Git is the most popular used version control system today, and it is quickly becoming the standard for version controls. It is a distributed version control system, meaning that your local copy of the code is complete version control repository. So let's go and create the Azure repository in Azure DevOps and see how to use it. So I have logged in into my Azure DevOps portal. So this is my organization name, DevOps Consultancy and Solutions. So in this organization, I have multiple projects right now. So I will click on one of my project, DevOps CNS. So in the left panel, you can see there are the various services. So I will just click on the Azure Repo services. It will open the last repository which I used. So first I will show you how to create the repository, how to do the commits, how to create the pull request into the Azure repository on portal. Then I will show you how to use the command line, how to clone the repository on your local machine, and how to do the commits, how to create the pull request. And then I will show you how to integrate your repository with your Visual Studio Code, right? So if I click here on the drop down option here, so there are, if you can see the multiple repository in your project, right? And below, so there is an option to create the new repository, and there is an option to import your repository, and below is the option to see to manage your repositories. So I will click here on the manage repositories. So here you can see all the repositories available in your project. So there is an option here on the top right corner to create the repository. So I will click here on the create button. So it will ask me what repository type. So I'm using the Git and the repository name. So I will give the name Azure Repo demo, right? So I will click here on the create button. So now the my repository has been created, Azure Repo demo. So I will click here on the repository. So here you can see the repository setting. So you can switch on and off your repository setting according to your requirement. So below is the option. Here you can see disable repository. So if you want to disable your repository, so nobody can access, nobody can do any further commits into your repository. So you can disable your repository by making it on, right? So I will make it off because I want to use this repository. So here are the policies settings. So you can define the policies for your repository. So you can see what policy suits to your project, right? And then is the security settings are there. So you can set the security settings according to your requirement. So next is the approvals and check. So here you can define who will be your approver for your repository when you do the pull request or something, who can approve the commits, right? So I will just click here on the browse button to show you how to make the commits into your repository. So I will click here on the browse, right? So in the current repository, I have only one file which is called the readme. So if I go here on the folder, so on the top right corner, you can see you can set up build, means which you can set up your pipelines from your repository. And next option is clone. So if you click here on the clone, there is a link. So you can use this clone URL to clone the repository on your local. And there is an option you can clone your repository with your IDE. I will just close it. So if I click here on the more action on the three dots, there is an option to do the fork, to set the fork, and another is to create the folder or file. So if I click here on the folder, so now there is a dialog box will open. Here I can give the folder name, right, and the new file name inside that folder, right. So another option is the file. So if I click here on the file, it will directly add the file in at the root level inside the repository. So I can give the name. And below is the option if I want to download as zip or upload the file. If I have a file on my local and I want to upload that file into my repository, so I can click here on the upload file option. So quickly I will create the YAML file in my repository and see rest of the options like create the branch, tags, pull request. If I click here, I will give the name here demo file.yaml, right. So I have the piece of code written here, so I will just paste here. So in this YAML file, so basically I have defined the two stages and I am printing the message on the local. So I'm not creating the pipeline and not running this pipeline, just showing you how to use the repository options. Right. So I will commit here on there is a button on the top right corner. So I will commit the code. So I will just give the comments here, what comments I want to add. So if I have the multiple branches, so in which branch I want to commit the code. So I have only one branch as of now, so I will use that branch. So there below is the option work item to link. So in this you can link your changes to your particular work item. So right now there is no specific work item open, but I will attach this piece of code change to a particular work item. So I will attach with the demo work item for issues, right? So which is already in active state. So I will commit the change. So now my this code changes have been attached to that particular work item. So in this way, you see how you just how to create the repository and create the first file, right? So if I go here on the commit section on the right panel, so you can see there are only two commits are there. First is for the readme and second is for the demo file. So if I make a changes into the file, I just click here and go to the edit option. So if I click on the edit, now I am able to edit this file. So I can just add here build install build test and demo purpose, right. So I will just commit my changes again and add to the same work item. So now we have two changes. So if I go here on the commit option, there will be a two commits for this particular file demo hyphen file. So if I click here, I can see my changes, right. So what changes I have made to my previous commit. The previous was install build and test. Now it is install build test and demo. In the top right corner here there is an option inline. So if I click here, so there is an option to call side by side. So you can also compare your changes side by side also, right. If I click here on the left panel, so there is an option called the wishes. So it will also give me a detail about so what was the last commit and in which file and how many files has been changed. So this is the message update demo file YAML and this is the file name which the file has been changed, and this is the get commit hashtag. So if I click here, so it will give me complete detail. Here it will give me the summary of the change. So in the left panel there is an option called the branches. So in the branches you can see how many branches are there, right. So here I can create the another branch also. Let's say I create the dev branch, right. If I want to link it with a particular work item, I can link it with my work item also. So I can click here on the create. So now I have the two branches here, right. So if I go back to the files, so here I can see in which branch I want to work, whether I want to work on the main branch or in the dev branch, right. So if I want to make the changes into dev, now I can commit my changes into dev branch and see all the changes. So next is the tags. So let's say you complete your build cycle and deployed on to the production. Now you want to tag your code, right? Or even after the particular build you want to tag. So whatever your project requirement, based on that you can create the tags. So how to create the tag? So there is a, currently I don't have any tags, so I will show you. So if I click here on the new tag button, so I click here, so it will asking me the tag number. So let's say I create the v1.0.0, and based on what, which branch, so whether I want to create from main or the dev branch. So I will select the main branch. So I will give the description here, baseline tagging, right? And I will click here on the create, and it will create the tags, right? So next is the pull request option. So if I click here on the pull request, so right now I don't have any pull request. So I will show you how to create the pull request. So now I will show you how to create the pull request. So as we create the dev branch, so I will go to the dev branch. So I will make the changes into the dev branch. So I will go to this file, and I will make some changes into this file. So I will make these changes to pull request demo, right? So here you can see I'm making the change into the dev branch, right? And I will commit the change. So I will give the name here PR changes, right? So branch name is dev, and work item if I want, so I don't want to attach it for right now, so I will just make it commit. So now the changes has been committed into the dev branch. So there is an option here, it is asking me to create the pull request here from the file. So other is I can go back to the left panel into the pull request. So if I click here on the pull request, same, it is asking me whether I want to create the pull request. So either I can click here on the create a pull request, or I can click here new pull request. In this way, let's say multiple developers are committing the code, so each developer can check its changes and create its pull request. So if I click here on the new pull request, right, so there is an option here, so you can select the branch from which branch you want to create the pull request. So let's say if I want select the branch PR demo, so it will automatically change the files, right? So if I click here on the dev, so here you can see now the changes is for my dev branch according, right? So this is the target branch in which I want to merge my code, right? So let's say first I will create the pull request for from the dev branch, right? So I select here the dev branch, and in the overview I give the title here pull request changes demo 1, right? And below reviewer I add my name as a reviewer, and the work item, which work item I want to, so I want to add it to the same issue demo work item, right? So I click here and create the pull request, right? So now the pull request has been created. Here you can add your comments, the reviewer will add his comments, and there is an option whether he wants to approve or approve with suggestion, or wait for the authors to make the changes or fix the code, and other is rejected, right? And after it is approved, there is an option to complete it. So complete means it will merge your pull request into the main branch. So let's say you create the pull request and that is no more required, so from here you can abandon it or delete it, right? Similarly, if I go back again to the pull request, here you can see one pull request is created. So I click here on the new pull request again, and here this time I will select the other branch, which is the PR demo. So I will make the changes here, PR title PR demo 2. So pull request changes. So reviewer I will add my name because currently there is only one user. So work item, this time I will select the another work item. Let's say I select the demo work item for CR change request. So I will select and create here. If I go back to the pull request option, so here you can see now there are two pull requests which are created by me and assigned to me. So in this way you can create your pull request. So let's say I will merge the one pull request. So let anyone. So I will mention here to the author approved, or I can add whatever the comment required. I will select here approve, save commands, Now here you can see it is showing me that there is no merge conflict right now. So if I click here on the file, so it will be a straightforward merge, right? So now I will commit on the complete and merge it, right? So now the code has been merged into the main repository. If I click here on the main, go to files and select the main branch, right? So if I click here on the main, and here you can see there is a message here, you will learn how to create the PR. So in this way we can merge our pull request into the main branch. Now I will show you how to clone the repository on your local, and how to create the branch, how to create the pull request, and how to make the commits into your repository, right? So for that I will click here onto the repository. I'm working on this Azure Repo demo. So there is an option here, clone. So I will select here and copy this clone URL, right? So now I will go to the terminal. So currently I am in my one of my demo folder, right? And here I will clone the repository. So I will just give the command git clone and the URL, the complete URL. So it is asking me for password, right? So the password will be your personalized access token. So I have my token ready, but I will show you how to get and create your own personalized access token. So I will go back to the portal. In the top corner there is an option called the user setting, right? Next to your name there is an option called the user setting. So you click here on the user setting. So there is an option called personalized access token. So if you click here on the personalized access token, right, so your all active token will come here. You can, if you don't have any token, you can click here on the new token, right? So you can give the name of your token, select your organization name, give your expiration date or customize if you want, right? And give the scope. If you want to give the full scope to that token, that it means it has all read write permission for all the item work, all the services. Otherwise you can give your custom options also, like so that token can create the read the work item or write the work item, manage work item code, build, release artifacts. So you, according to your project requirement, you can create your own personalized access token, right? So I go back, I have my token ready, so I will go back to my terminal and paste it. So now the repository has been cloned, right? So here you can see I'm inside my repository Azure Repo demo, and I have two files here, right? So if I see what is the branch name which I am working right now is git space branch. So currently there I am in the main branch, right? So I will create the branch. So I will run the command here git checkout minus b demo. So I will check out. So now the branch has been created and I switch to that branch, right? So here I will make the changes into the demo file. So if you can see here, I will make the changes to the, instead of build and demo, I will say Azure Repo command line demo. So I will, now I will commit the changes. So I will give the message here git commit hyphen am. So a is for add file. If the new file is there, it will add it, and m for message. So message I will say demo testing. So now I will push the changes into the repository. So it is saying you need to run the command git push set upstream origin demo. So I will run this command. So now the changes has been committed into the repository. So if I go to the my Azure repository, if I see here, if I refresh my repository, and I will see here there will be a branch demo here. So if I go here, I can see the changes. The changes is Azure repository. So one way is you can create your pull request from here, or otherwise you can create your pull request from command line also. So for that you need to run the command az DevOps login. Az command is installing the Azure DevOps extension. It is asking me for token. So I have to enter my token here. So now I logged in into my Azure DevOps, right? So now I need to run the command to create the pull request. So now I have to run the pull request command. So for that I have to run this command. The command is Azure Repo AZ Repo PR create source will be the demo branch and target is the main branch. So I have to give the title. So title will be the new PR testing. I will give here PR demo testing. Description here, sorry. So I will give the description here. Azure AZ command line PR testing. So now the pull request has been created. If I go back to the Azure repository, now I can see the pull request is there. So here you can see the pull request has been created. This is a new pull request which I just created, new PR demo testing. So if I click here, these are the details. So if I go to the files, so this is a change which we have made Azure Repo command line demo, right? And the overview, if you see, so the commit, there will be an option to approve it and to complete it. So in this way, we can commit our changes from command line and also create the pull request by using the AZ commands. So there is another option to create the pull request is using the GitHub commands, but that I will show you in the when I do the integration with the Visual Studio. So now we will do the integration of our Azure repository with the Visual Studio and see how we can make the changes, how we can commit the changes and create the pull request. So now I am on my Visual Studio Code. So in order to connect to the Azure repository, you need to install a couple of extensions. So if I go here on the extension, so first you need to install Azure Repo extension provided by the Microsoft, and another is Azure Repo extension provided by the Architect. So this is basically required to create the pull request. Now I will go to my Explorer and click here on the clone repository. So it is asking me for the URL. So I will go here to my repository and click here on the clone button and copy the URL. So I will click here back to the clone repository, enter the URL. So now the repository has been cloned on my local. So here you can see the project is DevOps CNS and the branch is main branch. So if I want to create a branch, I will click here on the main. So it will pop up, it will ask me create the new branch. So I will give here the demo testing, right, and enter. So now the new branch will be created and I switch to that particular branch. So now I will make the changes into the demo-file.yaml file. So I will make the changes here. So demo testing from Visual Studio. If I go to the source control, so here you can see the one file has been changed. So I will enter here the message demo testing, and here you can see the changes also, what change has been done. It will show you the comparison also. So I will commit here. So it is saying there is no stage. Do you want to stage? I said yes. So now the changes has been committed into the branch. So next is, but branch is not published into the repository. So if I go here and click here on the main, so you can see there is no branch here. Or even if I refresh this page and I drop down this main option, so here there is no branch. So next is I have to publish my branch into the repository. So I publish my branch, click here. So now my branch is published into the repository. So if I click here on the main, if I refresh this page and click here on the main, you can see that there is another branch called demo testing, which I just created. Next step is to create the pull request. So if I go to the option and select show and run command, right? So there are two options here. So first is I need to sign in. So I will click here on the team sign in, right? And it is asking me the authentication token. So whether provide an access token manually or authenticate automatically. So I will give the token here. So I will select here provide access token manually and enter the token. So now the authentication is done, right? So now if I click here and go back to show and run and create the pull request. So now it is asking to open the external site. So now I will land on the Azure repository page. So from here I can create the pull request. So I give the title here, demo testing, description, and so here I can add the reviewer. I select DevOps Consultancy solution, and here I can select the work item, to which work item I want to link it. So I linked it with the demo work item, right? And click on create. So in this way, you can create the pull request from your Visual Studio. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you have understand about Azure Repository and how to use it. Hopefully you have implemented it by now. If not, check this video again and follow the steps in your environment. Let me know your feedback or feel free to ask any question in comment section below or send an email at devopsconsultancyandsolutions@gmail.com. If you want video on any particular video, feel free to write in below comment section or email me. See you all in next video. Till then, happy learning and keep learning.